So, tell us about how you found the story. I read that it's a real life story, inspired by a real life story.
Yeah. The story of Main Vaapas Aaunga is based on facts, based on the experiences of a lot of people, mostly those people that have seen partition with their own eyes, who had been displaced because of partition. And I heard many stories straight from the horse's mouths while shooting in Punjab for Chamkila, while shooting in Punjab for other films, and all over the country, actually. People that have seen partition, barely in few of them are alive now because most of them have passed away. And I have seen that many of them also have a memory issue, but they are obsessed with the time of pre-partition, of undivided India. And most of their thoughts, most of their happiness seems to lie on the other side of the partition time, in pre-partitioned India, in undivided India. So it was very strange also because we have seen films on partition, but most of those films have been about the unfortunate events that have happened. They have been about tragedy and strife and hatred also. But what I realized while meeting these old people, men and women, is that most of the time when they are talking about those times, they're talking about pleasant things. They're talking about their friends, about their old houses, pieces of furniture, sometimes dolls and playthings, and many times also about other people that they had loved or admired. Someone told me about a certain girl that had that used to come to his father's shop, and he used to look at her and he remembered her and he remembers her now. Sometimes with these issues of memory, these old people forget the names of their own children, and they forget their own children, but they don't forget the infatuations of early days. This is such a strange thing. And this lady had written, I think, about a man that used to cross the street and she used to wait for him to cross at the balcony or the window of her house. And this is pre-partition India. And 78 years later, today, she still remembers that meme. So I think there is something very precious in the feelings of love that you carry in your heart all your life. I feel that this kind of warmth, this kind of picture or memory is your constant companion that gives you refuge, shelter, and joy all your life. My film is based on such stories.
Imtiaz, we tend to generalize and say, okay, Imtiaz Ali makes love stories. Obviously, they are not mere love stories. You are trying to say much more. You pack in a lot more in your stories. What is that you wanted to say, convey through this one?
Through this, I wanted to convey actually the feelings of the generation that is passing away.
Yeah.
In fact, I was in a rush to make this film and release it sooner so that some of them at least that are still alive can know about this film, can perhaps watch it, and so that we can communicate to them before they all go away that we know, we feel you. We understand you have been the most dynamic generation. We understand that you've gone through so much hardship, unimaginable. We don't know how we would have dealt with it. So we hear you, we understand you, and we love you. And we are trying to understand what it would be for you to have gone through that experience and to have lived this whole life carrying the tenderness of your early romances in your life. So, and it is actually the love story of a person, of two people, but in a way, it is also the love story of an entire nation that was being divided. The feeling of loss is not only for a girl, it is also the loss of home, the loss of land, the loss of dignity, the loss of class. Can you imagine that people that lived in respectable houses, some of them in palatial houses, were reduced to living on street sides, on sharing one room in which 10 or 20 people were living. For years and years, people have lived in refugee colonies, in tents. These people were very, very prolific and rich and very well looked after. They had to completely undergo, in the middle of their lives, a completely different change of lifestyle. And they survived it and they excelled in it. And then they became successful. So it's a very, very big thing. But usually in such a tragic situation, what sees you through is not hatred. What sees you through is love. What sees you through is the tenderness and feelings of happiness, which, like poetry, like a precious jewel, remains in your heart all your life. So, with this sentiment, I started making this film, and this is an ode to the veteran generation that has seen